Hello, welcome to the Believe Retreat for Creatives. And today we have such an inspiring guest. We have Monique Madrid of the LOL Film Festival here to help us talk about how you take an idea to maximum impact. Hey, Francine.
Hi, how are you?
Wait a minute. I can't hear you.
You can't hear me.
Okay, now I can hear you. Much better.
Okay.
So,
Don't do me
how's
like
it
that.
going
Don't
this
do me
week,
like that.
Francine?
What?
How's it going this week, Francine?
This week has been absolutely amazing. I have been having so much fun going through our season 1 episodes and cutting out highlights. So, everybody, if you haven't been to our YouTube channel yet, please go there, like, and subscribe, and check out some of the cool videos I've been making this week. Yay!
Oh, okay, yeah, and I can help out with that. Let me just go ahead and put a link there in the chat. Yeah. So, I also have been having a lot of fun making some content and stuff this week. I love it when I get to create stuff. Well, I mean, I guess that's why we're all here, right? This is the Believe
Yeah.
Retreat for Creatives. And so, one of the reasons we do this every week is to stop, slow down just a bit for 30 minutes and really kind of look at some of the stuff that has really slowed us down, that's really hung us up. And some of the stuff is things that maybe we've been telling ourselves is just fine. Like, it's okay to keep hustling and keep pushing, and that's the way that it has to be. That's something that we disagree with. This hustle culture isn't sustainable. Maybe for a little bit, maybe you could do a little short sprint. Yes, great. But to keep it up zaps your creativity. It really hurts your decision making. And so we're here to just tap into some of that inner creativity power and overcome those things that have been hanging us up. And Francine, before we introduce our special guest, do you want to tell them a little bit more about the project we're working on that we want everybody to come collaborate with us this year, because it's just going to solve like a whole bunch of different problems with one really fun project?
I am so excited. This collaboration project is going to be doing so much for so many people. First, you could write a chapter in a book about your story and know that you will touch lives and inspire others. Number two, if you do feel overwhelmed in your content creation, in your marketing, or in just being visible, this book is your answer to open new doors for you. If you need a, a community of people to support you, because what good is creating all this content? What good is writing a book? What good is writing a song and recording it if people don't consume your stuff? This group of 50 people, 50 or more people, will be your supporters, will be your cheerleaders, will be your community. And this will happen for a whole year. So you'll be in it together with a bunch of other people trying to do different stuff than you are, but taking the same route to get there. Did I miss
So this
anything?
No, I think that was great. And this is like an actual project, an actual collaboration. You're actually going to be putting together 1,000 words and writing your story, a
Maybe more,
story that
maybe
has
more words, maybe more words.
impact. Oh gosh, I've written 1,000 words so many places. Anyway, maybe we'll
Well,
let you away with a little more, says Francine. This is the new news. And so you will get started with the help of our first event that we're going to do online June 10th. So we're doing it online to make it easy. You can do it in your jammy pants. It's going to be recorded. So if you miss it, you can go back and still do the work from this. That's going to get you started and it's going to get you past the things that have caused you lots of procrastination in the past when it comes to telling your story. And why this is so important, why this story that's inside of you is so important, is because there is somebody out there in the world that has been waiting for that story and that inspiration. And not only are you going to inspire those people that have been waiting for your story, but the journey over the next year that you spend with us, that process to find it, is going to have such impact in your own life to help you through a lot of creative struggles that you currently might be kind of stuck in the muck with. And so I'm very excited now to introduce our guest, Monique Madrid. Let me get her from backstage. Okay. Oh, I still didn't get her from backstage. Okay.
I
There
disappeared.
she is.
I'm
Monique.
minor little technical difficulties today.
here.
Yes. Hey, Monique. How's it going?
I'm good. I'm excited to be here and excited to talk to the community. And thank you. Just thank you for inviting me on. Like, this is dope stuff that you guys are doing. So I'm excited.
Well, awesome. I am so excited for you to tell your story because I think it's very inspirational. I think what you work on is kind of like one of those things, at least in my mind at first, I was like, oh my gosh, these are such big projects. And how does anybody get involved in any of this? And then you made a community and you made it possible for people to be doing stuff. So let's not leave people in suspense anymore. Let's first tell everybody a little bit more about yourself.
Okay. Yeah. So, like you guys said, I'm Monique Madrid. I am the film festival director of LOL Jack's Film Festival, which is a love our locals while laughing out loud is the motto. And so it's a comedy film festival, but we don't just do comedy. We do musicians, we do comedians, we do short films, we do vendors, and everything about it is local touched. And it's just we want to support each other, and I think that's where the community comes in is we're celebrating each other, but we're also supporting each other, and we're laughing with one another. I am also the co-creator, excuse me, I'm the co-producer of the 48 Hour Film Project, which is how I met you. And you make a film in 48 hours, and you compete with not only the people in your city, but you compete with other people around the world to see who made the best film in 48 hours. So I do that. Otherwise, I am just a fan of the arts and I try to support. I'm definitely a fan of mental health. I definitely take time to like how do you say give space to like breathe and knowing the power of no, so that way I can do more quality projects over quantity, and just recharge, because if you don't recharge yourself first, then it's not good to your project, so I'm definitely a fan of what you guys do, and how you guys are trying to ensure that people, like I said, don't burn out. And it's a marathon, not a race. You don't have to. You take your time. You will finish. You will make beautiful projects. You need to enjoy the journey. And so that's what I'm about. That's what I love, and that's why I'm here.
And this is why I love you so much. Like, all the things I'm into, you're into those things.
Yeah.
Anyway, but I want to hear more. I want you to tell the story of how you started the LOL Film Festival, because I
Sure.
just think it's so cool.
Yeah, sure. So my husband is a filmmaker, and actually, I'll back it up. When I was going to college, to help pay for school, me and my husband, he wasn't my husband at the time, but we DJ'd, and we would just DJ to help pay bills. And I did that even after I graduated. But my husband was a filmmaker and was really passionate and lean into it, and would enter us into the 48-hour film project, and would go to different showcases to show his short films. And a little bit prior to that, we had just stopped DJing. And on one particular outing at a theater, I was like, you know what, I something's pulling on my heart, and I really would like to do a a comedy film festival. And I think it's because I was seeing a lot of bad things on the news, to the point where I was turning off the news. I was like, ignorance is bliss at this point. I don't want to hear the bad. And I just really wanted positive. And even the films that I was seeing, it was a lot of drama films, a lot of horror films, and I love them. But I was like, I want to laugh today. And I just thought that would be great. And then also the other part about it is that me and him would go to comedy shows. We would go to see local bands. We would go to different art scenes, and we noticed that they were all like kind of in their own circles. And so I was like, I really would like to create a platform where all these artists can come and play together and appreciate each other, and figure out the values among one another, so they could collaborate. And so that's why we did LOL. The me telling him in the theater, and I said, should we do this? He didn't say anything. And the next morning he woke up and he said, let's do it. And so we gave ourselves the year to like really do it right. Cause I didn't know, I said, I want to do a festival. What does that entail? I have no clue. Right. I was just on a high of like wanting some happy, happy in my life. And then the reality hit when he said, yeah. And I was like, oh, wow, let's get to work. And so I just kind of, to your point, I would write goals down. I would research things. I looked at what was necessary. I needed a venue, so I would work on getting a venue. I knew I needed a logo, so I worked on that. I knew, I needed to, have film content and find artists and all these things. So I just took it one bite at a time. I would write it down. It's almost like old school to-do lists. And then I would just mark them off one at a time. And to this day, and I brought it here for you guys, it's old and like pages are falling out, literally falling out of it. But like I literally wrote on every page scribbles. And this was the first year. This was literally the first year of all my notes from making the festival. And I keep it as a memory of, like you said, you can't, if you put it to paper, you're committed to it. And if you just really take it one bite at a time, you can achieve it. And so when I came to D-Day, I was like, you know what? If my family just shows up, I'll be happy. And if obviously the filmmakers that submitted their stuff and the artists that I had come, I was like, if they come, that's fine. And I sold out my first year. And I was like so overwhelmed in a good way, because it felt like a lot of hard work, and it's a lot of work that you're doing silently, and you don't know what the outcome could be, right? So but when you are rooted in your purpose, and when you are solidified on the journey that you feel you need to go on, you really do take to heart, if I touch one soul, that's all that matters. But you'll be pleasantly surprised how many people respect authenticity, and they know what you're about, and you have this platform of positivity, they'll come. And so we continued it year after year. This year will be year 9 for us. I can't wait till double digits the following year. I'm really excited. And it's just grown over the years because, when you're doing things you love, and when you're doing things because your heart's in it, and they see the sincerity of what you're doing and the impact of touching lives. And because our event was, we weren't just celebrating, but this was also a networking opportunity to where our musicians were now becoming, what do you call it, music composers for films. The filmmakers are now doing their music videos. Comedians were becoming writers and becoming actors on their sets. And so we saw this collaboration. And even with the 48, I joined that like a few years after, as a city producer. But like just in recent years, we brought murals on for the competition. So we were always constantly finding ways of like bringing more different, bring other artists in from other worlds, and just saying like, no, don't just assume that it's all about film. It's so much bigger than that. And come play and show your stuff and watch how people will collaborate. And even we had a 48 where it was dancers, like ballet dancers, one year. So we're seeing the growth in it, and we're seeing the impact of community. If you give them a safe space to be themselves, they receive that well. And so it's been a great ride for me. And I'm constantly learning. I'm constantly remaining humbled, and I celebrate too. So don't get me wrong. You always got to celebrate your victories, but I also know that I'm a constant learner, and I want to grow. And so I always take this time off at the end of the festival to, study more, take classes, business classes, art classes, and just celebrate artists, like go to their shows and learn more about what their needs are. So that way, the next year, I can offer something new to them every time. And I think that's what helps sustain us. And then also, I try not to put myself in a race with anybody else. I'm just like, I'm focused on my festival, and what my festival can do to help others. And when you stay focused on the prize of what you can offer, and what, how do you say, what your purpose is, you can tune out the noise of imposter syndrome. You can tune out the noise of I can't. You can tune out the noise of, haters, all that, right? You're flying, and it's wonderful. And I found that it was so much bigger than me. It gave me joy, but then I realized it was so much bigger than me when I would hear stories of different people that I met and their collaborations and what it led to. And just seeing people, like for instance, like meeting you, and how you are doing film, but now you got this. Like it just gives me a high to see all the love and all the tentacles of everybody doing their own purpose. So yeah, it's also given me a chance to like really feel solidified in the community, and feel like I am no longer a speck of dirt, but I have like a little legacy that I can leave behind too. So yeah. So hopefully that answered the question.
It
Beautifully,
did. And
beautifully.
I have a question for you about passion and purpose.
Yeah.
What is it that you do to tap back into that passion and purpose on the days where it feels like maybe a little teeny tiny flame somewhere like deep inside of you, and you're like, how do you tap back into that? How do you make it a big flame again?
Yeah, so first so my grandmother lived to be 101 years old. She passed a little over a year ago. And this little lady, I think she was all but 4'11", like she was tiny, um, she would always just be still, and like really, she was just always quiet. And I'm like, my grandma was just so quiet. But then the older I got, I realized there's a power in being still and being quiet. And what I realized is, if I just, you know I find my favorite spot, whatever's my happy space, And if I can't quiet my mind, because I'm not a meditator, because I used to be, I would try so hard, but I would get so scattered in my thoughts. So I learned that music was meditative for me. So I'll put on music that has no words because I don't need to be singing. I'm a horrible singer, but I don't need to be singing. So jazz or classical or lo-fi, any type of music that would just really zen me out, and I would just be still, don't have a thought. And my heart stops racing. All questionable things going on in my head, they're gone. So now I'm not sad or feeling burnt out or whatever that feeling is. And now I'm just very in this chill state. So once I'm really in this chill state, then I take it up a notch and I do things that make me happy. Whether it's make my favorite tea, and that's a process because I am a tea snob. It's a very sophisticated tea in my mind. Or I read my favorite book. Currently, right now, I'm reading Wicked, because I fell in love with the movie and now I'm just in a rabbit hole with it. But or I'll journal. Actually, I think I have that around here somewhere. Can't find it currently. It's buried under all my stuff. But I have a journal that I will write things in and write my thoughts down. I will go for a walk. I will, go in the car, drive around and listen to music. I will just find things that make me happy, so it puts me back in a loving state. And then to then bump it up a notch, now I'm listening to podcasts that are inspiring and are lighting me up. I'm listening to any speakers. I'll even go on social media and find like inspirational TikToks, if it whatever pumps me up. I will talk to my husband, who is a big happy-go-lucky guy. Like, I have this safe space with him that he'll just like remind me of how powerful my voice or my platform can be. I will, I go to church. I am very spiritual, so I will go there and get word and feel uplifted. So I will usually use the power of uh, potent speakers, just inspirational speakers to really remind me of my why, and then I'm ready to fly again. I do it in that order. I have to be still. I have to then be happy, because if I'm not those things, I'm not ready to receive. And then once I'm ready to receive and I'm listening and I'm letting it, just like spark things in my mind, it's now giving me vision, clarity, and that fuel to keep going. And I'm not gonna lie, I get burnout every blue moon. Every few years, I'll get burned out over something. And the reason why I think I'm able to keep going is because I am very self aware of what can pick me back up again. And I think I've learned that through people like my grandmother, people like my mom, who has just been one of those women that even when tough gets tough, you roll your sleeves up and you keep going. There, you don't stop. The show will continue, whether I let it go and I don't do anything, or I get out there and be a part of the change that I want to see in the world. So I just lead with those things, but it's in that order: be still, get happy, be ready to receive, and then you know get out there and move. Is kind of my marching order.
And guess what?
So do you think
You are a
the
meditator. That is all forms of meditation.
It is. It's just I can't do
I
the
can't either. I teach meditation, but I can't do that either. It doesn't work for me.
but I want to so bad. Like, I really want to go. Like, if I had the money, I really want to go somewhere like India or Bali and just like, or go somewhere where those quiet retreats to where it's like silence. I want to do that one day, but I'm just sitting there like my thoughts will be running. But yeah, thank you for pointing that out, because it is. I've learned that it is. It's just my way of doing it. Yeah, yeah.
So do you think that self-awareness that you talked about in this
Mhm.
process that you have has contributed to your success? And why do you think that is?
Yeah, yeah. I will say that. I think because I have learned that, one, I had to first establish that this was not a one-time thing. So I had to learn the purpose in it, because I thought originally the purpose was, it was a selfish purpose. I wanted to, work with my husband, because we had stopped DJing, which was kind of the thing that our that's what we did together. And I wanted to see happy things. So I did it for me selfishly, but then when I found out the value of what others got from it and it became a purpose, then I was like, oh man, this is beyond me now, and I need to learn how to self-sustain. So when I would find burnout, I had to really quickly figure out what it was that would get me out of that state so I can keep going. And so I will say it does do that, because I don't grow tired anymore. I just know that I have to rest, and have that stage. So I even build it in. Like after I'm done with the festival season, I will give myself 3 months to just do nothing. Like, and then when I mean nothing, I'm still doing something. Like I go out and support. I am just sometimes thinking. I'm looking at things to be inspired. I will go to places to get inspiration, but I'm not actively making phone calls and paying bills towards this festival, right? I'm not doing those actions. And I found joy in that. And so it definitely does help to the success, because I think a part of it is the long, like, people, the longer it's gone on, the more it's grown, because more people learn about it. More people network, and it just grows, and the arts community in my city, Jacksonville, has benefited from it. And so yeah, I think being aware of what I'm truly capable of, being aware of when I need help, because in the first few years, man, it was just me and Adam, my husband, just us, until I call it D-Day, which is the actual event day. And I would have all these volunteers, but the volunteers were activated on the actual day. So it was us all year long, and that contributed to the burnout. So I had to be self-aware of it. You can't do it alone. You need to create a village around you. So yeah, I definitely think being self-aware, knowing what I'm capable of. I'm a big dreamer, but I'm also a realistic person. I won't sit there and say I am going to, be the next Coachella right now, right? It ain't that. It's not that. But I realistically find ways to scale up that's feasible to me, and the people see it, and they respond to it, and they come back for more. And then also to allowing, um, I'm very clear: love our locals while laughing out loud. That's the motto, right? But I've also allowed, by seeing people come and seeing what it meant to them, I also am self-aware enough to allow them to let it be whatever it is to them. You know what I mean? Like I never will correct someone when they say, "Well, LOL means this," or the film festival does this. That's what they believe, and I'm very open to anybody's interpretation of it. So again, being self-aware of the community, the purpose, burnout, having a village, all of that, definitely it all contributes to the success of why LOL is still going. Yeah.
So, one of the things that I want to just wrap this all up
Mhm.
is you mentioned the little bite-sized pieces, and having the list is
Mhm.
this big huge project, and then like you worked through in bite-sized pieces. And I think also, along with that self-awareness, you have a process of how to deal with the things that you realize have been holding you back, or just slowing you down and keeping you from being productive
Mhm.
toward your goal.
Mhm.
And you also have found not only your own purpose, like there was a purpose of wanting to be connected with your husband, but then finding that deeper impact. So
Mhm.
your idea to that greater impact that's really served so many people here in Jacksonville, Florida. And I mean, really, like people have seen these films other places. So it's
Yeah.
impacted worldwide.
Yes, yes. We've had filmmakers that their films have gone on to show all over the world. and even at the iconic Cannes Film Festival, all through us having and serving on these platforms that allow them to show their work, and they come and they bring their best because they know we're bringing, I mean, they've always were going to bring their best, but I shamelessly like to think like, well, we're bringing our best too, so they put their best foot forward because they see us putting our best foot forward, and a lot of them do say that. So but they're all great talented people. I just want to contribute to cheering them on and giving them safe spaces to continue to have arts thrive, you know what I mean, and including, writers. Writers are definitely pillars in our community. Yeah.
And we are so excited because we are going to be joining you this year.
Yes, I'm super excited. Yes, thank you for saying
yes.
yes.
I cannot wait.
Yes.
I cannot wait. So tell us when that is and about when people can like get tickets and stuff like that.
Sure. So it's the first weekend of August every year. If anybody ever wanted to submit films or comedy sketches or stand-up comedy, they can submit it April 1st to June 30th, and then we select who's going to showcase. But our showcase is always August. The first weekend of August. This year, it's going to be the 2nd and the 3rd of August. It's on a weekend. It's always Saturday and Sunday. It's going to be at WJCT Studios. If you go to loljax.com, that's where you can get tickets. It's not on sale yet because we always like to wait until we've announced who is going to be screened and performing at our festival, so that way it's fair play for anybody who wants to get tickets. But if you follow us on Facebook and Instagram, and all that's on the loljax.com, if you go there, it'll show you where our socials are. But if you follow us, we always up to date people. But yeah, it'll be this year. It's always in the evening, WJCT Studios, and it's going to be the 2nd and 3rd of August.
It's on my calendar.
Yay! And I'm excited to have you. Like, you guys, again, like, we always love to support the community. And so we always have vendors come out, and that way our filmmakers, our artists are also seeing what's out there in the community. And if we want them to support them, we need them to support you guys. So we're hoping that you get a lot of love and a lot of traffic by coming and hanging out at our festival, for sure.
So it's going to be great. I hope you guys join us for that. And I also hope you guys take a look at our collaboration that we have coming up this year. If you're really not sure if you want to do a whole year, just start with the first online event. That's it. Just do the first one. Dip your toe in, write a little bit down, and then really realize how hot of a story you actually have going on for you. And then you can decide
how easy it is. It's not going to be difficult. We're going to make it fun.
Bite-sized. Bite-sized. Okay? And we're going to tap into purpose. That's going to be exactly where we're going to be starting. So you couldn't have said it any better, Monique.
Yeah.
So next week, we have Kate Phillips, who is going to talk to us about another super important topic, cash flow for creatives. Yay! So I'm super excited for that one. Oh, it's been a great episode. Oh, you know what I forgot to talk about before switching the screen? Let me go back to this one for a second. We could talk for probably another 30 minutes, hour, I don't know, but we always run out of time. So that's why we have the ability for you to go and retreat once a day in our community, where we're posting a new question for you to ponder on, and just take about 5 to 15 minutes. Take that break to slow down, be still, get in tune with your purpose, and you can join our community. It looks like it is in the chat, or you could also scan the QR code in the corner. All right. Now we have said all of the things they need to know. All right, Francine. We talked about this.
Yes. Let's try to get it right this time. Let's get it right this time. I'm ready.
I'm ready. Watching. I'm ready.
So, if you can conceive it, You
can believe it.
And you
can
achieve it. Okay, you got it from here.
From the head to the heart
to the hands. Yes.
Yes. You can. Yeah.
I just wanted to do this part, so I was really excited that you guys were getting it.
Yes, that's mine. That one's mine.
Yeah.
Anyway, thank you, Monique, so much for joining us today. Thank you, everybody out there, for joining us. Don't forget, like and subscribe so you don't miss anything else we've got coming up. See you guys next week.